Just put it to a camera. Put it to a camera.
You checked it.
All right. Welcome to the broadcast here on NN Viking Media. It's a chilly homecoming evening as your Niles North Vikings take on the Maine East Blue Demons. As we welcome you to our final broadcast of NN Viking Media, as we experience this final homecoming matchup here at Chuck Pond Stadium in Skokie, Illinois. It's now 2nd and 11. Maine East is in the pistol formation. They're going to hand it off to the outside. And he bounces a tackle, and he's finally brought down after the Vikings defense bends, but doesn't break. They bring him down, but not before a nice gain from that Maine East running back.
Nice run there, and that was the problem last time when they faced against Buffalo Grove. They had a lot of trouble really getting those tackles secured, and they had a lot of extra gains against the Viking defense. So that's what Niles North really needs to do on defense, is secure those tackles and get stops early.
All right, so it's a 3rd and short. A handoff once again to the left side, and he's gobbled up by a gang of Viking defenders. That'll bring up a 1st down, however, for the Blue Demons. And Niles North is looking pretty shaky on the run defense end.
Yeah, they really need to get that together, because once they establish the run, there's so much versatility that this Maine East offense could potentially bring. And you never want to see a run defense really break down early because of that. And later in the game, that could be a problem if they can't stop it now.
All right, a fresh set of downs here for the Blue Demons. Man in motion, and a jet sweep towards the middle of the field. And he's brought down for a minimal gain.
Yeah, they didn't really sell that jet sweep there. Kind of got read a little bit earlier than I'm sure Maine East expected, and they tried to take it up the middle but got swarmed by a stampede of Viking defenders.
Well, of course, if you run that play, it involves a lot of trickery in it, and Maine East just unable to execute. As the Vikings read that perfectly, that'll bring up 2nd down and 10, as the wide receiver only got back to the original line of scrimmage and nothing more. Meanwhile, a big run up the middle, up the gut, as he takes it to the opponent 37-yard line. As he'll spot it there, that'll bring up a 3rd down and 3 for the Blue Demons.
Yeah, big drop right there, very solid run by the Demon halfback. And we have really only been seeing run plays by this Maine East team. So if I'm Niles North, I'm, especially in this 3rd and short situation, going to just stack up on that run defense, get a stop here, and hopefully patch up these flaws that we've seen so far.
All right, so now it's 3rd and 3. And they're going to blow the whistle here. And that's going to be a timeout on Maine East's part, and they'll have 2 timeouts remaining. So Maine East comes into this ball game winless, actually, 0-7. They have been struggling a lot throughout the entirety of this year. Last time out, they lost their rivalry game against Maine West, an opponent, a familiar foe for the Vikings, as Maine West beat both Maine East and Niles North. So compare these two performances between Maine East and Niles North against Maine West and how they fared. How do you compare these two teams?
You kind of have to give the advantage to Niles North, just seeing that they've had a couple wins, and obviously with Maine East coming in winless, you don't really know what to expect. So you're kind of, especially us, we're hoping to see a Viking power show, but we'll have to see much more as this game develops. And they have not been throwing the ball at all lately, especially on that 3rd and 3. You would expect maybe a short pass right there, but Viking defense was able to pound that run, which everybody seemed to expect.
All right, it's going to be a 4th down. It looks like the offense will stay on the field. Oh no, they're going to punt it after the huddle, as the punter lines up at around the 49-yard line to punt it away. Chris Harris is back to return the kick for the Vikings. Some motion up front, and it's going to be a fake punt. And he nearly gets to the line, but it looks like he's going to be stopped short.
Yeah, they read that very well, and it looked like it was almost expected by the Niles North special teams. Because as you saw, he got a bit of a hole, but there were plenty of defenders right there, and it seemed like they were gravitating towards a trick play like that. And especially this early in the game, you have to wonder what Maine East was thinking there.
All right, a short gain there. Gets back to around the line of scrimmage there. That'll bring up 2nd and 10. All right, 2nd and 9 actually. He's gonna shake a few tackles, and he's met at around the 42-yard line as he's stopped by a pair of Maine East defenders. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, we saw the last game against Maine West. They tried to do a lot of running with the Viking offense. I would like to see Chris Bland start to air out the ball a little more with this offense. He's obviously got a very good arm. He's been pretty accurate, and the wide receivers on this Vikings team are very fast and very talented. I would not like to see that opportunity potentially go to waste.
And so there is a flag on the field that is on the defense, and that'll advance the Niles North offensive possession 5 yards, 1st and 10.
Yeah, that's a very nice call for the Vikings. A little encroachment right there. Brings them a little bit closer, and they don't have to fight on a 3rd down.
Chris Bland looking back to the sideline for the call. They've got trips to the left, and it looks like it's a quarterback run here, and he's going to accelerate for a lot of yardage. Great gain, and that'll bring up a 1st down for Niles North.
Yeah, we know Bland is a definite overall athlete. 3 sports. We've seen him run a lot. We've seen him throw a lot. And right there, he shows off his speed and can just get to. He just got to the line, 1st down. But there is a flag.
Yep. And it looks like they're going to backtrack this Niles North possession. And so with 6:21 remaining, it's going to be 1st and 10. But it's going to be moved back. A penalty on the offense. They're going to tack on some more yardage. So instead of 1st and 10, it'll be 1st and 15 for the Vikings.
Yeah, very unfortunate there as Bland's run put them in a very good position, but now they're inched back just a little bit.
Bland in the shotgun. He's going to have 5 wide out. What do you see from this Maine East defense here?
So I don't think they're gonna do anything really much with a blitz as they do a little sweep.
Yeah, pursuit there, and it allows them to break free. And the conservative coverage from Maine East allows him to get a bit of space there and able to turn the corner there for a nice gain.
Yeah, Niles North must have known that Maine East was not going to blitz there, as that little toss and run got them a big gain with the conservative, like you said, defense by Maine East right there.
Yeah, but penalties haunting the Niles North Vikings offense, as this one's going to be backtracked even more. There's a flag on the field. And it's going to be holding on the offense.
Yeah, and I'm sure Pistorio and the other Niles North coaches are shaking their head right now as 2 first down opportunities in a row with great position have been taken away, and now it's going to be a first and very long for the Vikings.
All right, 1st and long for the Vikings. Man in motion. And it's actually going to be a handoff. Trucking over defenders and finally stumped by the Maine East defense. That'll make this 2nd down a lot more comfortable for the Vikings. And so that'll bring up 2nd and still long, but a manageable 2nd and 13 now.
Yeah, not too bad. Good run right there. Solid play. Obviously, Maine East thought they were going to throw, but not too bad.
And here's a run up the middle. And he's going to break it. He's still running on his feet, and he's going to score. Touchdown. Jordan Jackson. Touchdown to open up the scoring on this homecoming night for the Vikings.
Yeah, and you cannot give Jackson an inch. Kid is fast, explosive, agile. Give him an inch, and he'll take you to the house. That's a great run, great blocking right there by the Vikings as they finally don't see any flags on a big play.
Yeah, and not to mention Jordan Jackson with his big 6-foot frame. He's very agile, but also very tough to bring down. His frame allows for that nice burst of speed, and when he's in the open with that frame, it's very tough to bring him down.
Yeah, and that's a great early lead for the Vikings, something that they've wanted to see for a while. And does that put them in a good position to get some momentum that they've needed for a long time.
All right, so the PAT is good. And with 5:24 remaining in the 1st quarter, Niles North takes the lead 7-0. So if you're just tuning in, we welcome you to our final broadcast on NN Viking Media this season as the Niles North Vikings look to improve to 3-5 as they take on the Maine East Blue Demons. I'm Josh DeVera along with my partner Chris Kinziora on the call in Chuck Poss Stadium in Skokie, Illinois. And Chris, we've had some highs and we've had some lows when it comes to this football team, but it sure is great to end with a homecoming game like this.
Yeah, nice night for a game two. Off to a good start, obviously, 7-0, and we hope to see some more scores on the board, and hopefully just a great overall display by the Vikings tonight.
And let's head down to the field for the kickoff. And he boots it high and deep. Here's the return from zone 28. Cuts the corner, and he's stumped. The Vikings read that play perfectly, anticipated the return, and a nice stop there for the short return.
Yeah, and we say it a lot. This Vikings special teams has been a very, very high strong point this year. They've had quite a few returns back for touchdowns. They've done a very solid job of stopping big gains, and overall have given this team lots of opportunities to be very successful on both offense and defense.
All right, so it's now 1st and 10 as Maine East looks to answer with this drive right here. And a screen to the outside. He's going to take this one at around the 40-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like he had a little bit of room, but that was stopped quickly by the Vikings. Kept him to about a 7-yard gain. But overall, first real pass we've seen in a very long time. So not too shabby for the Vikings to stop that there.
All right, so Maine East is ready to line it up here at the 40-yard line. It's now 2nd down and 3. A lot of motion up at the line. And a jet sweep once again. Let's see if Maine East can get something going here. They don't really, but still a comfortable game for Maine East.
Yeah, that's the second time they've tried that. And again, the Vikings have done a good job of reading that and stopping it. Even though they sold it a lot better this time, the Vikings still able to jump on them and do a good job defensively to keep that to nothing.
And so that'll bring them 3rd and 3. 3 wide receivers stacked up on the left. And another screen here. They've had 2 screens in this set of downs. Niles North getting on top both of them. And there's a flag on the field. It looks like a personal foul there on the field as we saw the defender there tangled up. I believe it's Jalen Butler tangled up with the Maine East receiver. And we'll see the call on the field as the officials converse here. Call pending here, and we'll get the call in any moment now. But Chris, obviously this Niles North defense has struggled against tough competition throughout the entire year, but against this Maine East team, they look to have a more favorable competition here tonight. How do you think Niles North should attack this Maine East front?
I think they just need to stop the run. That was their problem in their last few games. It's been really one of the things that has been kind of like a hidden kind of dagger for them. They just need to stop that early. Maine East seems to be very conservative pass-wise. They have not been throwing the ball lately, so that might not be one of their strong points. Therefore, if they can stop that run, make them try and pass, maybe some big things can happen.
All right, it's now 4th and very long. 17 to be exact. Chris Harris to return. He's placed at the 40-yard line of the Vikings. He hopes to get it past enemy territory here. Here's the boot. And he makes the catch. Oh, and he's tripped up. Nearly got to midfield. But they're going to stop him right there at around the 46, 47-yard line as Niles North takes the field.
Very nice tackle, actually, by the Maine East special teams player. Chris Harris, very elusive guy. If you give him a little bit of space, he could have made something of that. And we'll kind of have to see how that ends up playing out. But that tackle could have saved them another TD.
All right, so Niles North ready to take the field here. They're going to place the ball back and around the, looks like they're backtracking this even more. It appears there's a penalty on the field. And penalties really haunting this Niles North offense. Every time they would have somewhat of a favorable situation, penalties always seemed to bring them back.
Yeah, it's been a rough night for the Vikings in terms of penalties so far.
And all season, too.
Yeah, they've had a lot of them, and they seem to come at the worst times also. It's not like they've been very favorable at all for the Vikings.
All right, so Bland will throw outside. Little bubble screen there. Gets a nice amount of yardage there. And with this Maine East team, I feel like they're not as fast flowing sideline to sideline compared to Niles North's past competition, which has opened up the screen game a bit for Niles North.
Yeah, and I would like to see strategically for the Vikings to start throwing a little bit more. This is obviously a much smaller team in terms of both depth and
and
size.
a fumble there. And we'll see who picks it up. It appeared the Maine East defender picked it up, but we'll see who has possession of the ball.
It looks
And,
like the
yeah.
Vikings defender, or the Vikings lineman actually was able to jump on that just in the nick of time, as that could have ended very, very bad for the Vikings, and that would have given Maine East some prime field position and an opportunity to at least get something on the board.
Yeah, although it really was an all-around negative play for Niles North, they were able to catch a break here, as it's now, despite being 3rd and long, you take out the option of Maine East having the ball right inside the middle of your red zone here.
Yeah. And back to what I was saying about the depth, Maine East has a small number count of players, so I think passing the ball would really be a great thing in terms of stamina, wearing it out the Maine East team, and potentially giving the Vikings a lot more opportunities as the game progresses.
All right, if you're just tuning in, I'm Josh DeVera along with my partner Chris Kinziora here on the call at Chuck Paw Stadium. Here's a screenplay by Mellon Pryor, and he looked like he had some space to get free, but Maine East able to cover him up there.
He was definitely going for that first down marker right there, not just trying to gain yards. He tried to deke out a couple defenders, was successful, but eventually got caught up, and once he got there, there was nothing that you can really do from that.
And Niles North is ready to punt it away here, as that fumble there on Bland's part was able to help Maine East pin Niles North back deep into their own territory, and a short return there, as even though it's short, they get past midfield, so some great field position here for Maine East, as the defense now for Niles North comes out onto the field.
Yeah, I'm very surprised the Maine East returner didn't call for a fair catch right there, as he's limping back into the huddle. But, I mean, he got hit immediately. He got hit low and hit high. So I am a little bit interested in why he did not just call fair catch and have that could have been potentially dangerous in terms of fumbles for Maine East also. So.
All right, it's now 1st down. And that's going to be a fumble on Maine East, and they also recover it, just like Niles North's offense did, but this time with relatively more success, as they're able to get it back at least closer to the line of scrimmage there. Still a loss, but it was better than having that long 3rd and 22 for the Vikings on the last possession.
Yeah, they got lucky too. The Vikings missed a couple of tackles. I'm not sure how. It seemed like he just went through defenders. He got back to just within about 2 yards of the line of scrimmage. So instead of a potential 7 to 10 yard loss, only dropped him back 2.
A pistol formation here. Bounced out to the outside, and it looks like he'll be able to get it back to the original line of scrimmage. but there's a penalty flag on the field. It might be for the extracurricular activity there on the sideline there near Maine East sideline. We'll see the call on the field. Well, suppose this is a Maine East penalty. What would you do if you're Niles North? Would you go in sort of cover 4 prevent defense, or would you try and put some pressure on Maine East right now?
I would actually think a little bit more of a pressure kind of thing. You haven't seen them throw all day. You don't know how they're gonna really react, and obviously this is against the Vikings. But if you were in that situation, I'd see how much pressure you can get and what you can force, because you haven't seen them do anything but really any screens and runs.
So that Niles North penalty will put the ball at the Niles North 36-yard line. A very stacked formation here, very tight. It's a pistol formation with only 2 wide receivers and 2 running backs. Here's a snap. And the Niles North defense pretty much saw that coming. Well, they came in with a run formation there, and Niles North able to read that perfectly.
Well, I have no clue why Maine East has not attempted anything other than a screen pass so far in the game, and the Vikings are just going to keep on reading this, and unless there are more penalties or Maine East decides to switch things up, I can't see any other result for Maine East's offense other than getting gobbled up by Niles North defenders.
Yeah, and they're going to run out the clock here for the first quarter. And the score at the first quarter break, it'll be 7-0. Niles North takes the lead here. And it'll be Chris and Austin for you in the second quarter when we resume. And stay tuned as we take this quick break. An intermission here as it's the end of the first quarter. Maine East trailing Niles North as they have the ball right now. 0-7 the score at the end of the first.
Austin just texted me that he's not coming in now, so I guess.
And just a quick alert here, Austin will not be joining the commentating booth here for the second quarter. It'll still be me and Chris giving you the call from the booth here at Chuck Paw Stadium at the Niles North campus here as we actually get set to start the second quarter with a fresh 12 minutes on the clock. It'll be 7-0 Niles North with the lead as the Blue Demons have the ball right now. Oh, some trickery there. A deep throw just out of the reach of the wide receiver. Tried to grasp it with one hand, but unable to do so, and that'll make it a 3rd down and 13.
Well, Maine East right there, expanding their playbook a little bit to what we've seen. Obviously a little trickery there, and maybe, who knows, maybe we'll see Niles North's defense back off a little bit and play a little bit more conservatively.
All right, so 3rd and 13. You know, my suggestion here would be, try to get some of that cover 3 coverage, try to defend that middle deep half of the field. You really don't want to give Maine East any big plays here. And the underneath coverage as well will take care of the sticks. But they bring pressure here, and a deep throw, nearly a big play as the wide receiver had some separation. But it's going to be incomplete. The pressure got to the quarterback there.
Yeah, and solid coverage right there by the Niles North corner. He saw that he was going to be going deep. He read the receiver's eyes. And once he saw the ball, he saw it was going to be on the inside of the field, and just completely kept their Maine East receiver from getting anywhere near it.
And that'll make it 4th and 13. with 11:46 remaining in the second quarter. If you're just tuning in, we have just begun the second quarter, and we just ran one play, and there was an incompletion there, and that'll bring up fourth down. Here's the boot, and he muffs the punt here, but Harris able to recover, looking to create his own play. He cuts it back the other way, and he's got room. Oh my goodness, Chris Harris cuts it back. He's still going. He can score. Oh my goodness, touchdown, Niles North.
Well,
Oh my God.
Well,
A huge kick return, a punt return there, and Harris will take it in for 6. An electrifying play for Chris Harris there.
Well, I don't know if that was Chris Harris or Deshaun Jackson on that return right there, but wow, unbelievable. Some primetime blocks also. That was a ridiculous return, and that might be one of the nicest we've seen this year out of the many on that Viking special teams.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to get a scholarship to play college ball, I mean, that's one you got to put on the highlight reel right there.
And it looks like there may have been a penalty on the play, and we're wondering why, as we didn't see any flags on the field, but it's getting called back for whatever reason.
Oh, that's extremely unfortunate there. Chris Harris with a lights out return, very highlight reel-esque return, deserves to be on a highlight reel, but they're going to call it back. Just an outstanding effort there from Harris, but a holding penalty, it appears. Well, some sort of blocking penalty, I assume, and that'll bring this play back.
Wow, that is one of the, out of all the penalties we've seen this year, I think this one might just be the most unfortunate.
It's the epitome of the penalties curse for the Vikings.
I mean, after you see that, probably the most electrifying play of the Vikings season, and to get it called back, oh, that is just a heartbreaker.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel bad for everybody on that field right now, everybody who was a part of that last play especially.
and all the audience here watching.
Yes,
Vikings
of course.
fans.
Everybody just, you could hear the sigh and the groans as it's getting called back. And, well, maybe the Vikings can make up for it with another spectacular play upcoming. But, wow,
Yeah.
was that just unfortunate.
I mean, the fans could try to reason with the refs, hey, it's homecoming, come on.
Yeah.
Don't throw that flag. But they're going to bring this one back, apparently. And it'll still stay 7-0 here, as the Vikings now have the ball. But, gosh, that was a great play from Chris Harris. I think I'd even put it up there against, you remember Tariq Cohen's return last year?
Yes, I
Against
do.
the 49ers.
Wow. Yep. That is
2 years ago?
Yeah,
Was that 2 years ago?
I believe that was last year, but
Might be.
that was ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember Cohen went backwards and then he went forwards, and everyone's like, no, and then everyone's like, yeah, once he got free.
Yep.
Kind of reminded me of that.
Devin Hester-esque.
Yeah. Very electrifying kick return there. But if you missed it, why don't you guys go ahead and rewind? That was a great return, but it was called back. We'll see if Niles North can answer here. And a first down throw from Bland to the outside. It's a screen play. And they'll lose yards, it appears, on that play. So Niles North, they've been throwing all these screen plays. I mean, you had success with a screenplay earlier in the ball game, which got them 7 yards. But this play going backwards for Niles North.
Yeah, I think they need to change it up and go medium long right here. I'd even think about feeding it to Chris Harris. I'm sure he's pumped and upset and angry, and he's got something in his veins that could probably end up with a big situation for the Vikings. So I'm thinking deep throw right here.
Yeah. Instead, they go with a run up the middle, and that's going to be stopped by this Maine East defensive line.
Well, obviously, strategically, that's one of the smarter things to do right there, as just in terms of spacing and how much space you have on the field. You can't do much else but play conservatively in some situations. Right here, though, I would not be surprised to see something big.
Yeah, and if you're Pistorio, why not, put Harris up on a streak to the outside, let him beat his man one-on-one with his speed. That's just a suggestion. We'll see what the Vikings do here. And they do throw it to Chris Harris, who makes a man miss. And he breaks another tackle. And he's just a human joystick out there.
Yeah, he's playing like a video game character right now. He gets the first down there. Nice throw by Bland. You can't complain with that play by Harris at all, but I'm sure he just wants that call reversed from earlier.
Yeah, it was a bummer for everyone here at the Niles North community, from the fans to the players on the field. That was a stinger there, but the Vikings actually making some good progress here on this offensive drive. They'll make it 1st and 10 after that nice play by Harris. And the catch is made by Jalen Butler to the outside. And Butler with a short gain, if any at all, with 9:20 and ticking on the clock. Actually, that was a pretty good gain. Gain of 6 on the play.
Yeah, not bad. They've been running those screens all day. And nice play right there. And they go back to Butler again. Grab a first down right there. Another nice little short throw. And those will always move the chains if you can do those successfully.
Yeah, and I've noticed the Vikings are really attacking they're playing the horizontal game right now. I'd like to see now the Vikings go with a more vertical approach, try to attack the deep half of the field as opposed to going sideline to sideline, because I think now at this point I feel like Maine East has kind of a sense of what's to come here for this Niles North offense, so why not switch it up?
Yeah, especially, and we're a quarter and about 3.5 minutes into the next. So I would like to see them try and wear out this Maine East team a little bit more, because once you get them down thin and tired at that point, you have much more scoring opportunities. And we'll probably see that more so in the second half. But if you've only put up a touchdown this far into the game for the Vikings, I would think about trying to wear down this team.
Yeah, and after that encroachment penalty on the defense, that'll bring up a very rare 1st and 5 for Niles North, as we get set to return back to the action after the timeout by Maine East. That is their second of the half, with 8:41 remaining on the clock for the first half. And if you're just joining us, we welcome you to this chilly homecoming festivities here at Niles North, and it's the homecoming game here at Chuck Pass Stadium. I'm Josh DeVera with Chris Kenziora up in the booth, the nice warm booth, and giving you the call from Chuck Pass. And we've got a lot of Viking students here out in the crowd, sitting in the cold metal bleachers while we're up here chilling in the nice warm booth. Anyways, nice pass there, intermediate pass. That gets them very close to the first down marker, not quite making it up to the sticks, but a nice gain to set up 3rd and short.
Yeah, able to get his foot in right there. Not too bad of a gain, especially when you got 1st and 5 right there. So we'll see what the Vikings do from here. Let's see if they spread their playbook and spread the field maybe a little more.
Whistles on the field.
Having a little bit of trouble there, it seems like the refs are with downs and
distance,
all that
right?
good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And so they've sorted out the confusion on the field, and we're back to resuming play here. It's now 2nd and 2. That's a man in motion. And a fake throw, and he's actually going to hand it off to Jordan Jackson, who cuts it up the field, and he's going to burst into the end zone. Touchdown. A nice display of acceleration by the big man, Jordan Jackson. He's actually a defensive lineman, if you think about it. Running back and defensive lineman, but he shows a great burst there.
Hey, no flags on this one. Second touchdown for Jordan Jackson this game. And not too bad at all. They get that score back later in the drive. That unfortunately got called back. But, hey, let's see how the rest of this game, what other electric plays we can get.
All right, so they're about to take the PAT attempt on the field. And the kick is good, right between the uprights. And that'll give Niles North the extra point. And that'll make it 14-zip, Niles North.
Yeah, and you like to see that 2-touchdown lead right now, especially at this point in the game. Gives them a little bit of space to work with defensively if they want to switch things up, maybe go a little bit more aggressive, but also gives them the opportunity to build on, especially right here, and expand what they're doing, maybe try some different plays on offense before the half, and really set themselves up for the second half.
All right, so as we take a quick pause here, I'd like to give a shout out to my sister Sam De Vera and the Y&D Club. They performed earlier in the Homecoming Pep Assembly, and they did a pretty terrific job there with the choreography and everything, and that definitely got the crowd pumped up. And so congrats to them, my sister Sam De Vera, and the entire Y&D Club. The Y&D stands for Why Not Dance, so if you're tuning in and would like to join, do it now. And we get set to kick the ball off here. Maine East looking to return. It's a nice kick up to about the 26, 27-yard line. Makes a man miss with a spin move, and he's finally brought down at the 30-yard line.
Short gain there for Maine East, and they haven't really been able to do much special teams-wise in terms of big gains so far. And let's see if the Vikings can hold them to the position they have right now.
So with 7:49 remaining, Maine East will get set for this offensive possession. 1st and 10. There we go. They line up in the pistol formation once again. That's a common theme for this Maine East offense. As he takes the snap, looking deep, and he throws, and it's nearly caught. Incomplete. That just glances off his hands, and even then you had a Niles North defender ready to lay the hammer on that wide receiver. Incomplete pass.
Well, that's the first real set throw I think we've seen this game from Maine East. And unsuccessful right there, but they had an opportunity. I'm wondering if we will see that more so this drive than we did before, or if they're going to go to a very conservative and seems predictable run offense that they've been rolling with most of the game.
All right, they're going to run with a wide receiver. The wide receiver motion there led to the carry, and that'll make it a 3rd and manageable here.
Yeah,
Artejo making the stop for the Vikings.
3rd and 5 right here. I would not be surprised to see the Vikings go very aggressive right here, maybe a blitz from the ends. And I would really like to see some kind of major pressure, especially on the quarterback, as he hasn't really had to face that all game.
Yeah, but
especially if they go for a pass.
yeah, I'd also like to mention that whenever the Vikings did dial up the pressure, they really got him rattled there, back in the pocket. So we'll see what the Vikings will do here. It's a fumble, and there's a scrum on the field, and around the 26, 27-yard line. We'll see who recovered the ball.
It looks like it's going to be Maine East ball.
Yep, both units still on the field here.
But wow, did that work out pretty well for the Vikings. Artesio again with the pressure, able to jar the ball out on the mishandled handoff. And very good job defensively to keep them from doing anything.
Yeah, the Maine East offensive line was definitely not expecting that pressure. And that'll make it a 4th and 12. They're going to bring the punt unit out to the field. We'll see if Chris Harris can come up with another electric return as we get set for the punt here.
And he's going to be hungry for one right here, right now.
All right, we'll see what the human joystick can do for Niles North, but there's a flag on the field. Man, are the flags flying out here on the gridiron. Oop, and that's a delay of game on Maine East, and that'll send him back 5 yards.
Well, it works in Niles North's favor for the first time in quite a while. That's pretty refreshing to see, but let's see what Harris can do potentially on this punt return.
Ooh, nearly blocked there. Definitely got some pressure on the punt. As Chris Harris takes it, he shakes the defender, cuts up to the middle of the field, and he's finally wrapped around, wrestled down. Fans not happy about that one, but no flag for unnecessary roughness there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Harris didn't get to do what I'm sure he very much so wanted to do.
Yeah, he looked like he was about to do it.
Yep, but unfortunately, Maine East defenders got to him, and that didn't happen right there.
Well, if you notice out on the field, the teams here wearing some pink apparel, and that is to support the breast cancer effort, bringing awareness to breast cancer, and it's that time of the year, October, and both the teams here, Maine East as well as Niles North, definitely showing that awareness here. As a nice run, nearly into the red zone and around the 22-yard line. That'll definitely bring up a first down, but wait, we'll see if there are any flags here.
Well, you never know at this point. We've seen a few late calls, some early calls, every call you can probably imagine so far.
Yeah.
Most of them against the Vikings, unfortunately, but none there.
Yep, and we're all good, guys. At home, there is no flag on the field after that nice play for the Vikings. And that's a nice run. Ooh, Millen Pryor, I thought he had a crease there, but Maine East able to cover him up and push him out of bounds.
Yeah, nearly got a decent gain right there. Held pretty short, but nonetheless, this might be able to set up the Vikings to do something on the edges, maybe try and do something long, maybe to the corners of the end zone.
Yeah, but that's definitely a good sign for the offensive line of Niles North as they were able to get a push up front. That'll bring up a 2nd and 8. Bland looking left. He's going to throw left. Incomplete pass. And that'll bring up a 3rd down after that incompletion.
Bit short there. Bland definitely felt the pressure as we had an edge blitz right there. And, yeah, unable to complete that.
And that'll bring up 3rd and 8. All right, they're in the shotgun here. You got 3 wide receivers to the top of your screen here. Bland in the shotgun, looking left. He's going to throw left once again. Looks like it's a screen play, and he's going to break loose. That's Jordan Jackson with a touchdown, and that'll put Niles North on the board once again. 20-0 your score.
Well, if there was fantasy football for high school, I can sure say that I'd want Jordan Jackson on my team right now.
I'll put the entire Niles North roster on the team.
Yeah, looking good for today. Jordan Jackson, third touchdown of the game. Big play right there off the screen. Outstanding blocking right there, giving him just enough space. And if the extra point gets tacked on right here, it'll be 21-0.
And Jordan Jackson with a touchdown there. And the extra point is good. That'll make it a nice cushion. 21-0. Niles North leading Maine East.
Yeah, that touchdown is huge. 21-0 with 5 minutes left in the first half. Definitely should give Niles North a lot of confidence, especially this home crowd also. Blackout theme tonight,
yep.
And this Niles North team has been blacking out the Maine East Demons so far as they've held them to 0 points.
Yeah, the students definitely showing some support, as well as the parents here at this Niles North community. So as we take a brief pause in the action, I already gave my shout out. Chris, do you have a shout out in mind?
Shout out to everybody up here in the booth, of course. This will be my last football game as a Niles North student, so I'd like to thank everybody tuning in and, of course, all the fans watching. It's been fun.
Yeah, and it's been very nice working with you, Chris. You've given such great insight to this broadcast, as well as to me, and it's been great, especially talking pregame about fantasy football, and getting to know you was really cool, and kind of sad that it's your last year that we first got to meet each other, but it's been a hell of a ride, and I'd like to thank you, partner.
Yeah, well, Josh, it's always a pleasure.
Great.
Well, I'll be doing some basketball too, so
yeah,
we'll see
back.
You there.
It's not over, guys. You'll still see some more Chris Kinziora on NN Viking Media.
Yep, I'm happy to say it.
All right, so as we get that return from Maine East, it's now 1st and 10 as Maine East starts to bring out their offense here. Back in the huddle, and now they'll put their offense out onto the field. A rare shotgun look right now for the Blue Demons, as they have normally gone with a pistol formation. Actually, they're going to drop back in the pistol as it's 1st and 10, and they're going to run it. And Niles North able to stop it there. Great run defense on that play. And, I noticed Maine East, they've brought a very run-heavy game plan to this ball game.
Yeah, definitely. They have not let up with those runs. Only one, maybe two real deep passes up the field, and I don't know what their strategy is, but it hasn't been working so far, holding the Vikings holding them scoreless.
All right, so there's about 4:20 remaining in the first half as the Vikings lead 21-0. Here's a snap. It's a toss to the outside. Ooh, he shakes off a Niles North defender, still running, and he's finally twirled around at around the 40, or excuse me, the 32, 33-yard line. And that'll make it 3rd down. And we'll say A. I think he got back to the line of scrimmage there.
Yeah, Maine East able to just get back to the line right there. Lots of pressure. And I did not catch who it was who was the first up there, but they have to be kicking themselves right now, as they could have had the opportunity for an enormous drop back to set back this Maine East team.
Yeah, and Niles North is definitely giving it all they got against Maine East. They hold a comfortable 21-0 lead as of now. And so Niles North has been able to put some pressure on Maine East when they've had the chance to, or at least when the defensive coordinator has, dialed up the pressure. Would you expect Niles North to bring some more pressure here?
I mean, I wouldn't see why not. I mean, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. And at this point, these third down situations haven't been too broken, forcing a punt on every drive, I believe, for this Maine East team.
3rd and 8 here, and they aren't going to bring the heat. And he's trying to scramble to the outside. Ooh, that might be a late hit, but they will not call it.
I think he was just inside. I don't think he got out quick enough for that to be a late hit at that point, but very good pressure by the Niles North defense, forcing the quarterback to scramble. And then on the back end of that play also, didn't allow him to really get anywhere, and a good job to hold them on that 3rd down.
You know, some fans, take the late hit penalty at face value as, that's a dirty hit, but like, if you're a quarterback, let's say, it'd be a pretty aware play to get out as quick as you can if you see the defender is, motioning towards you, to kind of sell that late hit a bit.
Yeah, it's a very strategic piece of the game, and a lot of people don't realize how much
just to point out, they help out a lot. 15 yards is a lot.
Yeah, those plays can be huge and can be potentially drive deciding and game deciding. So as a quarterback or anybody on the sideline that sees a defender coming at them like that, you might take a little shuffle step out of bounds at the last second to try and force that late hit and get some big yardage.
And so we take a prompt break here, and actually Niles North's offense is back out onto the field. Maine East has been struggling for the most part. A very kind of rocky season. It's been a pretty rocky season for Maine East. They're 0-7 this season, hoping to get their first win against Niles North, but Niles North is definitely making it look tough here.
Yeah, and as the ball goes back to Jordan Jackson again, he's been punching his ticket tonight, and he's got 3 touchdowns, whole big load of yards, and he has been tearing up this Maine East defense left and right. And then they also have been stopped quite well by this Niles North defense. Very good job by them today. So it isn't looking too good approaching halftime for Maine East.
All right, so Bland now with a 2nd and 3 to work with. Very promising situation here for the Vikings, and a nice catch there by number 6, Jalen Butler. The nice tall wide receiver there, getting up, climbing the ladder to get that first down.
Yeah, Butler has a huge frame. He's very tall, I believe about 6'5" or 6'6". So every inch helps in football, and that extra height definitely allows him to be a huge asset to this offense as they get the first down.
All right, so it looks like Maine East has a bit of intermediate coverage here as they play zone, but they bring the pressure also as Bland is sacked. He got hit around the blind side. How do you hold on to that thing?
I mean, even from here, I don't know if you guys at home could see it, but he was hanging on by the strings of that ball pretty much.
It looked like it was going to come out.
I'm not really positive on how that ball did not pop out, but outstanding grip strength, I guess, by Chris Bland right there to
99 rating.
not give up a fumble. Yeah, I guess so.
All right, so Bland able to take that punishment, but still hold on to the ball, although that'll bring up a 2nd and 17. Very long situation here. He's dropping back to pass, and it's another screen play. They get Maine East to commit initially, but they recover, but he makes him miss. Jordan Jackson is off to the races, and he's finally brought down, pushed out of bounds after that great gain with 1:44 remaining. He stops the clock, and Niles North with a favorable position at the offensive end, and they're threatening right now after that great screenplay there.
Well, Jordan has been making something out of nothing the entire game. And right there, it looked darn close to him getting his fourth TD of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he would not mind having 4 today. Quite the day already. And I'm sure he's trying to make it even bigger.
Yeah, Jordan Jackson definitely a threat in the backfield. And I love the play call from Pistoria. He actually got that Maine East defense to commit to the quarterback, bringing the pressure, but they did not see the screen fly over their heads, and whoop, it was gone just like that. And a first down for Niles North. I mean, it definitely looked like that. It was almost like a cartoon, you know. You see Maine East defense going one way, and then it goes straight over their heads. And a nice screen play there from Jackson. And this play, a nice gain. Yeah, big gain, first down. Another first down for Niles North as they move the sticks.
Yeah, Maine East doesn't really know which way to look, and at this rate, they're going to have a big deficit to overcome as halftime approaches. And it's looking to be quite a senior night, quite a homecoming game for Niles North.
All right, so a brief injury report. Caleb Swanson, number 14, is out with a broken arm. And offensive lineman, guard / center Jeremiah Codevaticanti is also out with an arm injury as well. So they will both be sitting out for tonight.
Another handoff to Jackson here, and gets him a nice, seems like about a 4 or 5 yard gain right here. And they're punching it in as they are in great position at about the 10-yard line.
Yeah, time is definitely becoming a factor here. Well, it looks like enough for Niles North to get a touchdown, and he will! Touchdown, Niles North. That is their 4th touchdown of the ball game.
Yep, and that is another passing touchdown, 2nd in a row for Bland, I believe. Great job right there. Good blocking. Gave Bland just enough time to get a throw off, and a nice deke move as he comes back around and over the top to get in for the score.
Definitely a nice play call there. And we're just at 1 minute. We're at the 1 minute mark as Niles North gets set to kick the PAT. 3 of 3 make that 4 for 4. And that one is good. 28-0 your score.
A big game for the Niles North offense so far, as we have seen. 4 touchdowns with still a minute left in this first half. And as the Niles North defense, it looks like they're just going to try and hold Maine East from a score. Or worse comes to worse, maybe they get the ball back if they do score and run out the clock. But a commanding 4-score lead over the Maine East right now is looking very favorable for the Niles North Vikings.
Well, if you look at the players to watch, Jalen Butler, he has had some nice playing time in the passing game for Niles North so far tonight.
Yeah, and another name that you see, Chris Harris, of course, has been a very huge part of this team, and earlier had, for those who weren't watching, nearly the play of the year for Niles North, but unfortunately it got called back for a flag as the return gets them out to about the 37 or so for Maine East.
All right, so we have 56 seconds remaining in the first half. And we're just about to end this football season for you, Chris. It's been a pleasure, working with you for the football games, but he's definitely going to be back for the basketball games. And, I just like to ask you as we, you know, tick down towards the end of the first half here, as Elliot Parrish will take over for the second half. What was your favorite moment, being in the broadcast booth here for NN Viking Media during the football season?
I mean, this year, I can say that Niles West game was a whole lot of fun, but I'd say overall being able to commentate with my partner Josh over here has been an outstanding experience. So much fun, always a pleasure, and I can't wait to keep going for basketball.
Yeah, it's been a blast working with you, Chris, here in the nice press box here at Chuck Pa Stadium. And yeah, it's been a great time with you here in the booth, as that nice defensive play there earlier for Niles North brings up a 2nd and 24, a huge loss from Maine East on that play as he was brought down in the backfield. And they're going to go all streaks here. And a ball hawking safety or cornerback with the interception appears. Yep, and it'll point Niles North's way with 4 seconds left. If you were Niles North, would you try a Hail Mary here? Hook and ladder?
I would think that it seems like they might. I'm thinking if I'm the coach, I'm going to probably take a knee here or just go for a short run. But I would love to see something exciting right here. I don't know if they want to do a trick play or if they just go all out. Maybe show off Chris Harris's arms, or Chris Bland's arms, excuse me. Some of their receivers' speed, or who knows, maybe feed it to Jordan Jackson. Try and get 4 touchdowns maybe even before the end of the half.
Maybe try a slip screen play here.
Who knows? Anything would be nice.
I mean, that worked for them a lot this ball game, so we'll see what Coach Pistorio, what tricks he could pull out of his bag.
For all we know, we might see a Statue of Liberty.
And ooh, it's off his hands, incomplete.
Well, we still have 1.1 seconds left on the clock.
One more play.
After that last attempt, I think that we might be able to see something very fun here. Maybe they'll try and give Chris Harris some redemption with a long throw to the end zone, maybe, or maybe they'll try and let him do his thing, try and redeem himself before the half ends.
Yeah.
But we'll see what's gonna happen.
Well, Chris's football season has been extended for one more play after that quick play. And it's going to be a jet sweep, a shovel pass. And he's going to be wrapped around and brought down. No flag for unnecessary roughness there. And that'll end the first half. Niles North leads a commanding lead, 28-0, as they lead the Maine East Blue Demons. We're giving you a homecoming special here as it is halftime now at Chuck Pa Stadium in Skokie, Illinois. And Chris, we bid you adieu, but it was a blast working with you. It's been a pleasure. And what message do you have for the viewers out here?
Well, it's been quite a fun ride. Thank you guys, everybody for listening. Everybody up here making everything possible. Thank you guys a ton. Go Vikings, and we'll see you guys in basketball.
Yeah, it is senior night here at the Gridiron, and with that, we'd also like to honor Chris. He's a senior, moving on to college, but hopefully we see you around, especially in the basketball season.
Definitely. I wouldn't mind coming back on some off days, maybe get the opportunity to call some games still.
All right, so we'll give you guys the halftime show, and that is it for me and Chris for this football season. We'll see you. You'll see this this commentary duo back in the basketball season, and we'll say so long. We'll be back in the second half.
First set of honorees, Angela Patu and Kyle Vasilo. Our second set, Ishana Patel and Sarah Rupani, being escorted by our very own Mr. Chan Amaro. And your 2019 Niles North Homecoming Viking Royalty. Your Viking Royalty winners are Josh DeClaro and Shannon Dwyer. Let's give a big round of applause for the entire Homecoming court. Once again, thank you for supporting Niles North and go Vikings! Once again, thanks to the Homecoming court.
Yep, ready, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight the Niles North dance team will be honoring their seniors, Jenna, Emily, and Isabel, as they perform on the field one last time. Take a look at the big screen. A little bit of a shout out on that big screen to these three wonderful girls. Thank you all so much for making this team so special for the past 4 years. You three are truly the epitome of what being a Vikette is all about. We will miss you. The dancers will now be performing a palm routine to an Aretha Franklin mix. The Niles North dance team is led by head coach Shannon Washington and assistant coaches Corey Levruth and Heather Carpenter. Once again, thank you, ladies. Tryouts for the Vikings winter and competitive season are Monday, October 28th, right after school. Please contact head coach Shannon Washington for more details. Thank you to everyone for all of your support for the Vikings and the football team. And as always, go Vikings! And now, get ready for the Niles North Marching Band! The marching band will be presenting 2 hits tonight from the boy band era. Larger Than Life from the Backstreet Boys and Bye 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 from NSYNC. Following the performance, we will be recognizing the seniors in the marching band. So thank you for all your support all year, and as always, go Vikings! tonight. As we begin, we'd like to recognize our first band student, Rebecca Eisenberg, and her parents, Nora and Michael Eisenberg. Next, we have Erica Batesis with John and Sophia Batesis. Next is Ivan Kalimlim with Jenilyn and Rolanda Kalimlim. Next is Cameron Churchill with Sharon Churchwell. Next is Jacqueline Clark with Pam and Bob Clark. Next is Will Doris with Brendan and Dana Doris. Now we have Luke Ferry with Vito and Tammy Ferry. Next is Ryan Frederick with Steve Frederick and Andy Drylick. Next is Casper Goralchik with Andy Goralchik and Anna Cajun. Next is Ethan Humphreys Dolnick with Marla and Michael Humphreys Dolnick. Next is Bryson Jordan with Daryl and Katrina Jordan. Next is Kenny Kaihatsu with Edward Kaihatsu. Next is Abel Krishna with Anil Krishna. Next is Nolan Luca with Marius Luca and Karina Luca. Next is Margaret Myvald with Susan and Jim Myvald. Next is Katie Mazenberg with her sister Annette Mazenberg. Next is Haley Martinez with Romeo and May Martinez. Next is Vasilis Papanikolaou and James Papanikolaou and Demi Callis. Next is Julia Roman with Adele and Mike Roman. Next is Jonah Sendlin with Daniel Sendlin and Randy Gideon. Next is Louis Siegel with Lauren Elkin. Next is Nicole Thompson with Jeffrey and Michelle Thompson. Next is V. Tranlu with Jonathan Kissel and Lauren Liu. And our final band student, Catherine Whitney with Michael Whitney and Cannon Whitney. Once again, let's give it up for this year's senior band students. These students go above and beyond the call in the classroom and in every different aspect that the community asks for support from the band and artistic music. Once again, thank you, band, for all your help. And as always, go Vikings!
Homecoming comes but once a year, as does football season in general. Believe it or not, this is the last home game of the season for the Vikings and the final away game of 2019 for the Blue Demons. From Chuck Paws Stadium, it's Maine East at Niles North. Let's enjoy some football while it lasts. Kickoff. In quite a weird fashion, it will be received at the 32-yard line. I'm Elliot Parrish. Thank you for watching Viking Media. I'm going to be joined by my partner, Josh DeVera, in a second here. The Maine East is looking for their first win since 2017 under Coach Robert Winkle. Niles North, however, is looking for their fourth win of the season. Sorry, make that their third. Here's first down. It's going to be short of the first yard. Excuse me, it's going to be short of the first down. And 11:43 into the second half. It's 28-0. Niles North on top. So, at the half, Maine East had just 10 yards, believe it or not, 10 yards of total offense. Niles North had over 100. As that pass is complete to Benjamin Zeigman for a few yards, still short of the first down. That should bring up third. And I'm joined by my partner, Josh DeVera. Josh, happy homecoming to you.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I just took a quick breather. Now we're back in the action. So, with 10:35 remaining, it's a third down and 3 for the Vikings offense.
And it's been all touchdowns so far for this offensive team. Pretty great first half for them.
Yes, it is caught. It's caught by Jalen Butler. And a huge catch. Number 6 with a huge catch. And that puts them in the red zone, 1st and 10 for the Vikings.
Jalen Butler is an athlete that every student at Niles North should know. Whether it's basketball, shooting those threes, or making massive catches in a wide receiver position, he's one to watch.
Oh, and a big run. A tough run there from Jordan Jackson, and he takes it. Touchdown. That'll make it 34-0 as the Vikings take a huge cushion lead by a soon-to-be 35 points should they not get this extra point.
Niles North offense going unchecked in a shutout so far this game. 34-0.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make it 35-0. And here's the kick. 5 for 5 on extra points. And that'll make it 35-0. As the Vikings will take a very, very substantial lead here heading into the second half.
So, both Niles North and Maine East have no wins in the conference so far, the Central Suburban North, but Niles North will get their first conference win tonight if this game keeps going like it is.
And Maine East, as we have mentioned, has come into this game an 0-7. So a very tough road throughout the season, they faced pretty good competition, especially last time out. Last time the Blue Demons took on the Maine West Warriors, a familiar foe, as the Vikings actually fought against the Warriors of Maine West and actually lost in blowout fashion. So Maine West, Maine East definitely having their struggles throughout this season, just like Niles North. But it looks like Niles North is on pace for their first conference win.
Certainly. Very impressive performance so far.
And he's going to take it from close to his own end zone. And actually gets a decent return up to the 20-yard line as the Niles North defense heads back out onto the field. So if you're just tuning in, we have just concluded our halftime break. And with 9:59 remaining in the third quarter, the score remains 35-0 after a huge touchdown by Jordan Jackson on their last drive.
It's great to see the seniors honored during halftime. Very emotional. Between the two of us, you and I still have, 4 years of high school left.
Very long road ahead of us as Maine East gets set to start their own offensive possession. They have not put any points on the board. We'll see if this is their first as he gets sacked. A nice sack there.
Okay, so Maine East has finished last in the Central Suburban North for the past 7 consecutive years. So the last time they didn't, it was 2012.
So that sack there will put the Maine East Blue Demons at 2nd and 17. The ball is on their own 14-yard line. Let's say 15-yard line, rather. With 9:20 and ticking remaining in the third quarter. Oh yeah, what would you do here on 2nd and 17?
2nd and 17. They've lacked pass.
Actually, it's picked off. Picked off by the Vikings defense, and he's still up. Running the other way. Cuts it back. He's going to take it into the end zone. Defensive touchdown. Niles North with a very unconventional pick six. As he insert a boatload of Maine East defenders. Gave up that interception and a nice touchdown there. Aiden McCarthy on the play for the touchdown.
So, I was going to say, they've lacked accuracy in their passing game so far, but this is the point when you should take longer shots down the field, because it's window dressing in anything. You have nothing to lose if you're the Blue Demons, but that did not pay off.
Yeah, so that interception there will make it possibly 42-0 as we get set to kick this extra point. And that was a pretty good effort there from Aiden McCarthy, able to get that pick six despite having to traverse through that wave of Maine East defenders. Well, offensive players turn defensive, it's more like it.
Yeah.
As that pick six rewards the Vikings with another 7 points. Very lightning quick score there for the Vikings.
This is beginning to look like the game you were talking about, Maine West, the game Maine East just played against them. 47-6, except this is a shutout so far.
Yeah, and after this matchup, Maine East heads over to Vernon Hills to take on the Vernon Hills Cougars. That was actually an opponent that Niles North had early in the season. Can you recap to the audience about that matchup?
Vernon Hills, of course. That's a very good school athletically. So, Niles North lost 51-0. Nothing to see there for Vikings fans.
And a very, pretty much uncontested ball game for Niles North in terms of, I believe it was Vernon Hills. Yeah, Vernon Hills. So, we'll see how Maine East fares against that same team as we get set to kick it off. as the Niles North Vikings have been putting a beating on this Maine East team as he's wrapped around the 29-yard line. So we got Vernon Hills on the schedule. Obviously, we lost a blowout against Maine, or excuse me, against Vernon Hills. But if you're Maine East, how would you expect to, game plan for that game, especially since you're against a team that was actually blown out by that very team, Vernon Hills, and now you're getting blown out against them.
Right, that's disheartening and demoralizing. But you need to remember that Vernon Hills has not won the majority of their games in this conference. They've gone 1-2 in the Central Suburban South. They're behind Deerfield, Maine West, and Highland Park. So there are a lot more strong opponents that this team could be playing.
Yeah, it's definitely not a lot, but definitely something to look forward to for Maine East.
Yeah, they think like, at least we're not playing Deerfield, right?
And on the other hand, Niles North is playing Deerfield. Could you tell us about that matchup for Niles North? And actually, I feel like Maine East has gone against that same team. How do you think both teams? Well, for instance, how Maine East fared against Deerfield, and how do you think Niles North will fare against Deerfield?
Right. Maine East didn't seem to stand a chance against Deerfield, but they are third in the conference right now, going 2-1. Deerfield beat them 54-7.
Yeah, and that was on their own home turf too.
Ouch.
That was a pain to watch for Maine East fans, and will certainly be on high alert.
I will return in a moment.
All right, so Elliot, we'll take a quick pause, and I will take over the commentating duties for now. So we got 6:35 remaining in the third quarter. Vikings are leading 42-0. They're in the pistol formation. 2 wide receivers on each side. That's a nice comeback route, a curl route, as he gets the first down and more, up to a 15-yard gain that will move the sticks for Niles North. Well, Niles North definitely laying the hammer on Maine East. As you can see on the scoreboard, it is a big fat goose egg on Maine East part. It's a 0-42 ball game, and there's not been a pretty sighting for the East in terms of Maine East's offensive output. They're going to air it out here. Oh, nearly a catch, and it just glances off his hands. That'll be a great defensive play. That'll bring up a second down and 10.
That's borderline pass interference. You could have called that either way if you're the referee because it was unclear. But the rule says you should go for the ball, not the player, and that looked like he was facing the player. He couldn't even see where the ball was behind him if you're the defender.
And for the casual fan at home, if you guys don't know what pass interference is, basically the defender has to be facing the ball in order to make a play on the ball. Can't be facing the player and making a play on the player, as that'll be called pass interference almost 100% of the time. That's a big call for Maine East if they were to get that call, because that'd be 15 yards and an automatic first down.
Yeah, that would be more yards than they got the whole first half.
And that is not an overstatement.
Wow.
And we got 4:32 remaining in the third quarter, as the Vikings still have that 42-0 lead, as you can see on our brand new scoreboard. And we'd like to thank our Niles North Athletic Department for, giving us this, and the Niles North Board for giving us this wonderful technology to improve our broadcasts.
Beautiful.
Yeah, just an amazing scoreboard, got great graphics, and I feel like it's been a staple of this year, being able to get that and so the fans actually know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, great digital scoreboard for you guys, and we definitely appreciate it with the Niles North.
So Maine East moves the chains. That was, I think, the best pass completion they've had all game.
Yeah, and they move the sticks here. It's a 1st and 10 with 3:33 remaining in the third quarter. They're in the pistol formation as they have been for the entirety of this ball game. As they're going to air it out, here's separation, and it's caught. Niles North. Ooh, and a touchdown. A touchdown there. A touchdown for Maine East. And they finally break that lone zero on the board. They finally get some points on the board.
You can hear at Chuck Paws Stadium, the broadcast booth is literally shaking as he runs into the end zone.
Yeah, we got some disappointed people in the stands. As he got some separation, that was a very great play design.
My goodness.
Yeah, Maine East, for the entirety of this ball game, they have not been able to get their passing game going. It has been run heavy throughout this entire ball game. So they break that mold, and they're able to fling one over Niles North's heads. They caught him off guard there. Here's a 2-point conversion as they fight to stay in this ball game, and they get it. Quarterback scramble turns out to be a 2-point conversion. That'll make it 42-8, somewhat less of a blow for Maine East.
I like that call by Robert Winkle. He's in his 3rd year as head coach, and in those 3 years, he has had 1 win. But through all this, he has still stayed aggressive. That's going for the 2 points. Very good choice.
And his recent trend, we really can't attribute that to Winkle. It comes down to the players and, what type of pool of players you're going to get. And Maine East, is not a particularly huge school, so the pool of talent is definitely a lot smaller than, per se, New Trier or a school like Glenbrook South,
Oh,
for that matter.
interesting. Or even Niles North, which is like, I don't know, a good 4,000 people.
Yeah, got a lot of kids here, but
Yeah.
not as big as top tier schools in this conference, in this Chicago Suburban League. If you were to add in Evanston to the mix, for example, very competitive athletically, both in football and basketball. Anyways, here's the kick. It's gonna take a Maine East roll, and then and he's chased out of the tackle. Chris Harris, he's still up. And here's Devin Esser, just kidding. It's Chris Harris. He's gonna take it all the way back. Touchdown, Niles North.
That's the 3rd time he's taken it to the house this season on a special teams play.
48-8 is the score as of now. And earlier we've highlighted the players to watch, and Chris Harris was definitely, you got to have him on the list, and he shows why there.
That's rubbing it in the face of Maine East right after they scored their touchdown. But that's the most prolific player on special teams in the Central Suburban North.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this, Elliot, but in the first half, he had that electric play that was called back by a penalty. He had that punt return where he turned one way and he started going back, and he was almost brought down, and he stayed on his feet, and he's just an electric player is all I can say.
To me, that reminds me of Tariq Cohen, such
Yeah.
good running. And the fans were furious when that was called back, but doesn't make a difference now. They got to see the whole thing again.
Yeah, we got it on tape on this broadcast. And so that'll put the Vikings up 49-8. An unusual score for the most part, but it's the type of score that the Vikings would love to have each and every single week. So as we take a quick break in the action, I'd like to give a shout out to my very close family friend, Natalie Jean Canizado. She is turning 18 this October, and just wanted to wish her a very advanced happy birthday, and may the best wishes come to you. Elliot, you got any shout-outs you'd like to give for the fan team?
Shoutouts to my family watching at home, and my sister Abigail, who played in sectionals for tennis today, making the
Nice.
Vikings proud.
So the parish is definitely contributing to Niles Athletics.
Yeah.
And I know you're a tennis player as well.
I am, yeah. I can't wait till the spring.
Yeah. Tennis season for the boys almost coming up. If you look at it, time flies by pretty quickly. That spring will definitely roll around for you, Elliot.
Yes.
All right, so Maine East is ready to bring their offense back out onto the field. It has been a struggle for Maine East for the most part throughout the season and throughout this ball game. But at least last possession, they were able to score with 8 points.
Alright, so that should bring up the quarter. Now it's time for Vikings fans, a crash course in history of Maine East. Gabe Corby went 11-34 in his 5-year career and ended it in 2013 with 2 wins. Scott Smith took over the reins the next season. He got 1 win. Then he got shut out 2 years in a row. Then the current coach, Robert Winkle, came to town in 2017. His first season saw 1 win. Then the team got shut out last year. So, a long road in this decade for Maine East football fans. They're loyal. A lot of them are still here tonight.
Still supporting their kids here out on the field. And as you take a look at your scoreboard on the screen that we have displayed for you, it's the homecoming special here on NN Viking Media. The Maine East Blue Demons have the ball right now as they head back out onto the field as we begin the 4th quarter. The score, 49-0. Niles North taking a commanding lead on homecoming night.
So let's give our viewers an idea of what it's like to be here, like the atmosphere for homecoming. You had the pep assembly today, the parade, the band marching around.
And in turn, we got a large student turnout as well as some parents here.
Always a great time.
And an exciting time it is. First down and 10, a tough run there. Gets them the first down and more. You know, Maine East, they're sticking back to that run-heavy offense. And what do you do if Niles North, let's say stonewalls you a time or two?
I would air more passes because that seemed to work for them last time. They shifted the momentum a little bit.
Yeah, they got the touchdown too as a result of airing it out. So we'll see what Maine East comes up with here. They've got a fresh set of downs, so the options are unlimited here. First and 10 for Maine East.
Since 49 is here.
And if you're just tuning in, we have just started the 4th quarter.
Guys, 49 to 8.
And they are going to air it out, and he has some separation. Then it's caught. Down to the 20, to the 10, and he's going to take it all the way for a Maine East touchdown.
What a beautiful play.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, they got to air it out, and they did. And that gave them the score, 14-49. Maine East is, trying to fight back. It still seems like they're all but done here, but they're definitely showing that fighting spirit.
I'm going to say again, Winkle is not giving up with that play calling. I'll stop talking about the Bears after this, but that people know him here. That's like a Matt Nagy type Willy Wonka play.
Yeah.
That trick there, that would foil any offense because no defense, I'm so sorry, would see that coming.
Yeah, but as opposed to Matt Nagy, Robert Winkle likes to run the ball.
Ah.
So he's a run-heavy guy, and they get this 2-point conversion on the ground. And here's some applause from the Maine East coaching staff. Well-deserved as their boys battled back. 49-16 is your score as Maine East tacks on 2 points. And so with the football season coming to an end, Elliot and I, as well as Chris Kenzior, will be back for the basketball season in the winter. So that's something to look forward to. And we hope you guys tune in to the basketball games that we have on slate for you guys on NN Viking Media.
Can't wait for basketball season. You see a lot of the same stars on this field than that you do on the court. Giovanni, Milan Pryor, for example.
Yeah, and Jalen Butler as well. Very, very good basketball player. And I also hope we'll get the same excitement as we've gotten last year as well with me and you. Chris will also be joining the broadcast team on basketball. So his senior season will not be over with us here at NN Viking Media. And yeah, so that's what we have on slate for you on NN Viking Media in the coming weeks. So Maine East is ready to kick this one off. And we'll see if Chris Harris can come up with another electric play. He has done so throughout the entirety of this ball game. We'll see what's going to go down here. Maybe an onside kick. And it is an onside kick. They get that second bounce, that large hop over the first line of the Viking special teams. With the secondary is able to pick that one up, and that'll give Niles North the possession.
That was a smart play to call for two reasons. One, because Maine East wants the ball back. Two, even if it doesn't work, all the linemen on special teams are right there because it's closer to the middle of the field. But that's opposed to damage control, where you hold your breath and Chris Harris streaks away. They had no room to run the ball in this case.
Most definitely is. Chris Bland is back out on the field. Chris Bland is back out on the field for the Vikings offense. It's in the shotgun. You got three wide receivers to the bottom of your screen there. So take the snap. It's a handoff. He cuts back to the right. Cuts another right. And he cuts to the right again. And he finally gets out of bounds as Milan Pryor takes it to around the 40-yard line for the first down.
So, Maine East didn't win this year or last year. In fact, the last time they won was 784 days ago. 48-18 against Schurz High School.
But it's a long time from now. As Maine East doesn't look like they're going to get the win here, but they're still fighting. Oh, and he makes a man miss. Milan Pryor cutting to the left. Looks to get outside to the corner. But he's going to get wrapped around and tackled there at around the Maine East 38-yard line. Yeah, try to turn the corner there, but couldn't get it loose. But still a nice run there for Pryor.
Definitely. That's good high school football. You don't see them taking as many risks in the NFL, running sideways, trying to dodge defenders, just powering for small gains. This is more fun to watch in some cases.
A screenplay to the outside. He's got a lane and he's finally dragged down out to the 20-yard line. Kyle Wilson, number 18, making the catch and the run after the catch gets them the first down. Now you got three wide receivers to the left for the Vikings.
So far, the Vikings have no wins away. They're 2-5 overall. No wins in the conference, so tonight, looking for...
Pryor. He's going to get in the end zone. Touchdown, Niles North. As you were saying, Elliot.
Their first conference win. Here, maybe you're watching it.
As you were so rudely interrupted by Milan Pryor. As he just throws it in the end zone. 55-16. The Vikings take the lead. A bigger lead, rather, as they try to make it a 40-point deficit.
Pryor says, I'm not even going to give you time for analysis. Just watch me run.
No analysis needed. Just watch me run here. Alright, so they're going to kick the PAT. This is his 8th field goal attempt. Point after attempt. And that one is also good. He's 8 for 8. That number 8 for 8 just tells you amount of intensity Niles North had on the offensive end so far tonight.
That's really good, and it's consistency on so many levels for special teams as well as offense.
Alright, so Niles North will send their special teams unit out to the field in just a moment as we continue play shortly.
So the last time these two teams met, 2015, Mark Egofsky, they went to the playoffs that same year, and Maine East was shut out under Scott Smith that year. The Vikings had 7 wins and a 62-20 win over the Blue Demons.
Yeah, so the Vikings, they've had their number against the Blue Demons.
The ball's going right, so.
Alright, so Niles North is ready to kick this one off. Got 3:33 remaining on the clock.
About 9:30 Friday night, a gorgeous October moon shining above Chuck Paul Stadium.
And that glorious moon is just a nice display, just like how this game has gone for Niles North. 56-16 your score. Maine East now has the ball, and they're looking to make a statement here, hopefully getting a touchdown as their offense comes back out onto the field.
The two players to watch are the two Chris's on this offense. Chris Harris, 16, and Chris Bland. Harris is the QB. Bland is the QB. Harris is the wide receiver. My apologies.
Yeah, and he's had a big impact in this ball game with his explosive kick returns, and he has a great knack for playing the wide receiver position. It's now 1st and 10 from Maine East. They go in a pistol, and it's a throw to the outside, juggled, nearly intercepted, but it's going to be incomplete rather. It's going to be an incomplete pass, juggled, and it hit the turf. It is complete rather. So that'll bring up 2nd and 8, 1:51 remaining in the 4th quarter. So if you're Maine East here, how do you attack this Niles North defense, in terms of play calling?
I think they've gotten 100% better in this half, and the score shows that. 16-56 looks a whole lot better.
Ooh, some trickery here.
Camera 2, you ready?
And it's incomplete. The streak down the middle, but they're going to get a pass interference penalty here. We talked about that earlier, I guess.
Yeah. It's a fine line, and I don't envy the refs, because that's one of the hardest calls to make in football, and either way, the fans are not going to be on your side.
Yep, and they're definitely not on the Viking side, as that'll be a penalty and a automatic first down for the Maine East Blue Demons. If they're going to move the ball up the field here.
So turn off, and we'll see you up here. Isaiah.
First down, Vikings getting past 200 yards in this game of total offense. Chris Bland airing it out when he can.
Yep, most definitely. He has shown that ability throughout the entire ball game. And a nice run here. He's still not brought down. Oh my goodness, a huge run out to the 35-yard line. Cuts one way, cuts to the other, and he gets to the outside and brought down. Finally, by this Niles North defense. It looks like there's a flag out on the field. Let's see what the call is. Alright, so despite the penalty marker being out on the field, Maine East will call a timeout.
With just 12.9 seconds to play, and it's not feasible for a comeback here, that says something about Maine East, that they want to look as good as possible. They're trying as much as possible at the end of this game, that they still care about this drive. They want to get it up to over 20 points.
Yeah, and if you look at it, it's kind of extra rep here. It's almost like a practice situation here. Only the stakes cranked up a bit higher. Well, this contest actually, well, here's a pass. A streak, and that one is incomplete. Dropped by the wide receiver. And so we take a look at these fragile. That's going to bring up the end of the game, actually. This contest had a pair of fragile defenses. Maine East allowing 307 points prior to this game. Niles North 267. That will hold true as Niles North ends up being the victor here, giving up less points than Maine East, thus winning the game. The score is 56-16. The Vikings take control of this ball game and annihilate the Blue Demons on homecoming night.
We've loved being with you viewers this season. I'm Elliot Parrish.
And I'm Josh Rivera, and we thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to our Niles North YouTube channel, NN Viking Media, and also follow our Twitter channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and this is NN Viking Media, bringing you Niles North football.